Ikesham Gudakesha Parantapah Nayotsa iti Govindam Uktva Tushnim Babhuvaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Sanjay said, having spoken thus, Arjun, the chastiser of enemies, told Krishna, O Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. Purport. Dhritarashtra must have been very glad to understand that Arjun was not going to fight and was instead leaving the battlefield for the begging profession. But Sanjay disappointed him again in relating that Arjun was competent to kill his enemies, Parantapaha. Although Arjun was for the time being, overwhelmed with false grief due to family affection, he surrendered unto Krishna, the supreme spiritual master, as a disciple. This indicated that he would soon be free from the false lamentation resulting from family affection and would be enlightened with perfect knowledge of self-realization or Krishna consciousness, and would then surely fight. Thus Dhritarashtra's joy would be frustrated, since Arjun would be enlightened by Krishna and would fight to the end. So here Sanjay is addressing Arjun and Krishna with two special names. Arjun is called here as Gudakesh, and Krishna is called Rishikesh. Nice two names, rhyming names. So what is the meaning of this? Rishikesh has already come before. Rishikesh means one who is the master of senses. Rishika. The term Rishika means senses. We have these 5 senses, sense organs, Indriya. So anyone who is a controller of these senses is called Rishikesh. So we all have our senses. Everyone has their individual senses. But there is someone who is a master of all the senses. That is called Rishikesh. Just like there could be several computers, every computer is operated by someone, but there is one master computer, administrator, system administrator, something like that. So Rishikesh is the master of all senses. And then we have Gudakesh. What is Gudakesh? Gudakesh means someone who has conquered over sleep. Gudaka, Ish. Also someone who has conquered over ignorance is called Gudakesh. So how come Arjun came to be known as Gudakesh? There is a story of Arjun from his childhood. When he was a student at Dronacharya school, so then he would practice shooting arrows. So one time they were shooting at, they were taking their dinner in the night, and the lights went off. Something happened, lights went off. So Arjun continued eating. He took the food from the plate, put it in his mouth. So Arjun wondered, even without lights, I am able to pick up food. It is properly going into my mouth. It's not going here and there. It's going into my mouth without lights. So if I can eat without lights, why can't I shoot arrows without light? So then he started practicing shooting arrows in the night. Since then he came to be known as Gudakesh. And anyone who has conquered over ignorance. So we are all sleeping in the lap of ignorance. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in one song, Pishachi rako, Jeev jago, Gaura Chandra bole, Gotha nidra jago maya, Pishachi rakole. Jeev jago. Please wake up, O sleeping souls. Wake up, because you are now sleeping in the lap of the witch known as Maya. So wake up, because we are so comfortable. sleeping in the lap of the witch called Maya. We don't want to get up. But Lord Chaitanya is saying, Jeev, jago, jago, wake up. That waking up is not simply our regular waking up, but waking up with knowledge, enlightened waking up. That's what is needed. So Arjun here, right now he is going to go through a phase of ignorance and depression. But after hearing the Gita, he will come out of that ignorance of knowledge. In the 18th chapter, he says, Nashto moha smritir labdha tvat prasadad mayachyuta. Nashto moha, my moha is gone, nashta. Smritir labdha, my smriti, my memory has been regained. Tvat prasadat, by your grace. So anyone who follows in Arjuna's footsteps will also get enlightened by hearing, understanding Krishna's message. So Arjuna is representing all of us. By hearing Krishna's message, we also can get the same enlightenment. So here Prabhupada writes, Dhritarashtra must have been very glad. So what is Arjuna saying here? Na yotsya iti govindam. Oh Govinda, I am not going. Na yotsya. I won't fight. Why? Because he went through that emotional breakdown. So when Arjun, the main warrior on the opposite side, is saying, I don't want to fight, naturally this party will be happy, right? Just like in Cricket World Cup, when someone gets injured, when main player gets injured, the other party becomes happy. Inka main bowler, main batsman chala gaya. There is a good chance to win. Similarly, if Arjun is going through some difficulties, and if he is not going to fight, then the other opposite party will be happy. So Dhritarashtra here is happy. Saying Arjun is withdrawing? Good sign. There is a greater chance of my party, my sons getting victory. But then Sanjay is saying, Gudakesha Parantapaha. He is also giving the name Parantapaha. Parantapaha means the chastiser of the enemies, one who can defeat the enemies. That means Arjuna is not going, he may be appearing to withdraw, but very soon he will get the knowledge, get enlightened, and he will fight and he will defeat his enemies. So Dhritarashtra's joy is simply temporary, limited. Very soon he will see his army getting destroyed. That's what Sanjay is indicating indirectly by addressing Arjuna as Parantapa. So in this way, so this Gita appears to be spoken to provoke Arjuna to fight a war. Right? He was unwilling to fight in the beginning, and Krishna spoke something, and Arjuna got ready to fight. That's what it appears for an ordinary person. And we are also in today's times, the world is witnessing war, various places, right? Russia and Israel and so many other chota mota war is happening everywhere. And we may think, what is the difference between this war and the current war happening? Mahabharata war is also something similar. Great war is happening, going to happen between two armies. And here is someone speaking something and inciting him to fight. But there is a difference in this. If you look at the Mahabharata, you read about Pandavas going through so many injustices. Duryodhana and the Kauravas are doing so many unfair means to snatch away their property, to insult them, humiliate them, banish them into the forest. Right? And finally, there is war. And when the conversation like this is happening on the battlefield, it may appear that Krishna and Arjuna are talking about, maybe Krishna is reminding Arjuna about all the injustices that have happened with his family. So therefore, Arjuna is unwilling to fight in the beginning, and Krishna is reminding. It may appear like that. Krishna is reminding, "Arey, ye hua tha, ye hua tha, ye hua tha." Therefore, fight. But interestingly, Krishna doesn't talk anything about the history. He doesn't say, "Arey, Bhima was poisoned and you lost everything in the gambling match, and how Draupadi was insulted, and then you went to the forest and this happened, that happened." Nothing is mentioned here. So that shows the message of the Gita is not contextual, not simply limited to that particular historical event. There is a connection, but it is not limited to that connection. It transcends all the historical boundaries. So therefore, what Krishna is going to speak in the coming chapters is universal, is beyond time, beyond geography, beyond history. It applies to everyone, at all places, at all circumstances, for all classes of people. That's why it is still fresh. 5,000-year-old book, scripture. Still people are reading it, discussing it. That shows it is not limited to the war, right? So many books have been written about Second World War, First World War, the Vietnam War, the Gulf War, India-Pakistan War. Who reads those books? Because those books are limited to that particular time and history and geography. But this is something 5,000-year-old. Still people are reading it. So here Arjun is going through a situation called, he's getting paralyzed by the analysis. We call it paralysis by analysis. When you start thinking too much, sometimes when we are in a situation and we think, "Ye hona chahiye, ye nahi hona chahiye," and then we get into a vicious cycle. What to do, what not to do. So how do you know when our thinking is productive or not? If it is making things more confusing, then that kind of thinking should be rejected. If things become more unclear and confusing, then that kind of thinking is bad. And if our thinking is stopping us from doing some practical action, that is also bad. First is, if our thinking is making things more unclear and confusing, that thinking is useless thinking. And if our thinking is stopping us from taking up some practical action, after thinking, if we decide, "I will simply sit idle," that thinking is also useless. Thinking should lead to some practical action. So when this kind of thing happens, then we need to go beyond our thinking. If we want real solution, then we must go beyond thinking. We must take superior help. That's what Arjuna is doing. When his thinking caused paralysis, what does he do? He asks Krishna. Fortunately for him, Krishna was standing next to him. And then he consulted Krishna. So when we fall into similar situation, we should consult someone who is more wise than us, more experienced. Ideally, someone who is spiritually enlightened. Or we refer to scripture. We refer to the Gita. But sometimes simply textbook may not help us. We may need some live person guiding us. Someone is more experienced. So not always take shelter of our own thinking analysis. That may not always lead to solutions. That's what Arjuna is teaching us here. That this kind of analysis that leads to paralysis should be rejected. Therefore he says, "Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam." Oh Krishna, I now become your student. I'll become your disciple. Please tell me clearly what to do, what not to do. So when it comes to decision making, there are many methods. First was what Arjun faced, indecision. Some people just cannot take any decision. ये भी सही लग रहा है, ये भी सही है, ये भी सही है, ये भी सही है. What to do? And then they just keep on delaying, and nothing happens. Indecisive. So never taking any position, and not just once or twice. Every situation. If I take this decision, then this party will be displeased. If I take decision, this party will be displeased. So I will remain neutral and no decision. Maunam sammati lakshanam, it says. If you remain silent, in fact, actually encouraging the wrongdoers many times. So indecision. The other extreme of indecision is impulsive decision. Without thinking, without analyzing, jo man mein aaya kar dala. Take some decision and then I'll think the consequences. You've seen people like that? Some crisis, may not be crisis, something has to be taken without consulting or without inquiring, discussing, finding out the details. Kar dalo. That is called impulsive decision. Both are bad. Both are two extremes. The third is introspective decision. What is introspective? You think, okay, let us collect all the facts and figures, and then let us see the history. Something similar has happened, and then now this is the case, and then this is the case. Okay, now let us discuss, and finally, whatever is the best, considering all pros and cons, take a decision. So indecision is in the mode of ignorance. Tamogun ka prabhav. Impulsive decision is rajoguni effect, mode of passion. Whereas introspective is mode of goodness, sattoguni impact. So that's what Arjuna is doing here. He's considering all the pros and cons. He's saying, if I fight, this will happen. If I don't fight, this will happen. If I fight, family traditions will be destroyed. Who will continue the tradition? If I fight, Varna Sankar will happen. So many unwanted population will be generated. Women will be polluted and exploited, and then resulting unwanted population will create chaos in society. Therefore, not fight. But then, if I don't fight, then this will happen. How can I enjoy? My destination will be bad. I'll suffer sinful reactions. So many arguments he gave in chapter 1. Is introspective. But his introspection didn't lead to any conclusion. And then he inquired from Krishna. But at least he did introspection, which is good. Although he could have decided, let us fight, begin the war. He didn't do that. He had a good army, he had all skills, he had all support, experience. Still, he felt the cost of fighting the war is more than the cost of not fighting. And the damage caused by not fighting is better than the damage caused by fighting. Therefore, he thought, let us avoid. There is damage when you do both. At least less damage if I don't fight than when I fight. Therefore, he was thinking, I won't fight. Nayot Saiti Govinda. So all three are impulsive, indecisive, and introspective. But here Arjuna is demonstrating something better than all three. His decision is based on inspiration. So initially he had no inspiration. He felt everything is all bleak. What is the advantage of use of fighting? But then he heard Gita from Krishna and he got a lot of inspiration. Why should I fight? Not for my sake, but for some higher cause, for a divine cause. for Krishna's cause. That gave him the inspiration. Like we find in society so many people, they may be earning a lot of wealth, they may be having a lot of position and prestige, but still sometimes people are not happy. But then they take to some social cause, helping the poor, maybe helping the handicapped, helping the blind, and they don't mind sleeping, they don't mind going through all hardships, but they feel joy. Doing something for society, for others, sacrificing their comforts, sacrificing their money, right? That gives them inspiration. Recently, we were hearing the story of Arvind Mafatlal. He was a businessman, Mafatlal Group of Industries, and although he had successful business, still he would spend a lot of money on the poor. Whenever there would be any famine or some natural calamity, earthquakes, the government would call him to help, and he would donate large amounts of money. He would personally go to these earthquake affected victims and donate blankets, donate food. So one time he was sleeping in his room, winter time, and suddenly he woke up and said, even inside the room I am feeling cold. What will be the situation of people who are outside without any home? Then he took a bunch of blankets and then went and distributed personally. The chairman of a company, personally distributing blankets to poor. So they get inspiration. They don't mind going through difficulties. So when we have an inspiration to do our duty, then that is the best reason to perform the duty. It won't be indecisive, it won't be impulsive, it won't be just introspective. Inspiration agar hai, then we can go through all difficulties. So here Arjuna is inspired after hearing the Gita, and he doesn't consider anything about his comforts, loss and gain, victory or defeat. Because Krishna wants it. That is the best reason to fight, according to Arjuna. That's what scripture says. If you have a divine cause to do your duty, that is the best reason to live. All other causes, all other reasons to perform our duty is good, maybe, but not the highest. If you are working for God, serving in the mission of God, that is the best reason to carry out our duty. And that's what the Pandavas worked for. They went through so many difficulties, but they didn't care. Because they knew ultimately there is a plan. There is a divine plan behind the whole drama that is happening. Because Krishna wants it, we don't mind going through all these difficulties. So therefore Arjun here is surrendering. He says, I don't know what to do. So imagine there is a big circle. Circle represents all the knowledge of this world. Every subject. Math, science, physics, chemistry, biology, history, geography, whatever. All this is contained in this circle. Imagine this. And there is one small section, some knowledge that we know. I know a small percentage of this knowledge. And then I also know what I don't know. So there is one small section, I know, things that I know. Another small section, things I know I don't know. But there is a large majority of the section, things I don't know. You got the point? So there are so many things of this universe which are beyond the scope of our knowledge. That's when we have to approach someone like Krishna. That's when we have to approach scripture. Scripture is talking about so many things which are beyond our reach. Beyond our reach. Like in one place in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a description of the structure of the universe. So we have astronomers and scientists using their telescopes and other machines. They try to understand the universe and they have some information. But scripture talks about many other things. It talks about the heavenly regions, Indraloka, Swarga, where Indra is the head king. And there are nice, beautiful gardens, beautiful people, palaces, mansions, gold, diamonds, and precious ornaments. All these descriptions are given. Now, our scientists, have they found out with their telescopes? स्वर्ग कहाँ पे है? किसने देखा है टेलीस्कोप के साथ? No information. Shastra gives information. Then they talk about higher regions above Swarga. Lord Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Brahmaloka. Lord Brahma's abode. Brahma's abode is like far superior to Indra's abode. Then there is Kailash, Lord Shiva's abode. That is beyond this universe. Then beyond that, Vaikuntha, spiritual world. That is even higher. All these descriptions of these various places are given in scripture. Even in the universe, there is a description of a milk ocean. Kshir Sagar, ocean of milk, जिसका मंथन हो गया था एक ज़माने में. And then Dhanvantari came, so many things came. Where is the milk ocean? From scientists cannot find. Where, using a telescope, where to find milk ocean? है किधर ये? There is an ocean of sugarcane juice, ocean of ocean ghee and butter, ocean of yogurt, ocean of alcohol. बेवड़े लोग खुश हो जाएंगे. Ocean of alcohol. So many things. है किधर ये सब? Different dimensions. Dhruva Tara, pole star. That is also there. That's considered a part of spiritual world. So all these descriptions are there. There is Pitraloka. The moon. Moon is considered Swarga, part of Swarga. Then sun. Even sun is considered Swarga, part of heavenly region. Now we think sun is full of fire. How can life exist on sun? But then in the Gita there is a mention of Vivaswan, the king of sun, who is the king, the ruler of the sun. And Krishna says, I spoke the Gita to him long back, before you, millions of years ago. No, our scientists say वहाँ पे कोई life है ही नहीं. And moon is simply full of rocks. Chandrayaan जाके आया अभी, rocks and dust. So whom to believe? Scientists or scripture? That's a big challenge. Then so many things about the universe. The Chaitanya Charitamrita describes the story of Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma once went to Dwarka when Krishna was present here. And he went to the palace and the security guard asked him, who are you? He said, I am Brahma, the creator of the universe. Don't you know? Four-headed Brahma. So he said, okay, I'll go and check if Krishna is free or not. So Krishna said, which Brahma has come? He said, which Brahma? So this security guy came and asked Brahma, which Brahma are you? He said, I am Brahma, Baba. एक ही तो ब्रह्मा है पूरे यूनिवर्स में. So then Krishna said, okay, call him inside. So Brahma came inside and they exchanged their pleasantries, hi, hello, सब होने के बाद Brahma asked, so why did you ask which Brahma? Is there more than one Brahma in the universe? So Krishna said, he smiled, and within a few minutes they saw multiple Brahmas. This Brahma, our local Brahma, he saw many Brahmas. Brahma with 8 heads, 16 heads, 2 raised to the power 16, 32, 56, 32, 64. Multiple headed Brahmas. and all of them offering their prayers and reports of their universe. So every universe has a Brahma. And our Brahma is the smallest because our universe is the smallest. Smallest universe, only 4-dimension wala Brahma, 4-headed. When there are multiple dimensions, then you have accordingly, proportionately more number of heads. So this Brahma, our Brahma, he understood, Bhapre, I'm such an insignificant person here. There are people with hundreds of heads, like far bigger, far better than, superior to me. So our Brahma got humbled. So in this, the point is how there are so many things within this creation, beyond this universe also. Forget about this universe, even about beyond this universe. So many things which are beyond our reach. Our machines, our telescopes and microscopes and other instruments cannot reach, even if we have the best of instruments. No matter how technologically advanced we become, still there is a limit to the reach of these things. Prabhupada gives the example of Dr. Frog. I've told this story before, Dr. Frog. So there was this frog in a well, and he was the king of the frog, king of the well. Chode frogs, so he was like grand old frog. Then another frog came into the well from the ocean, from Arabian Sea, came into the well. And this frog asked, "Who are you?" Said, "I have come from the ocean." Said, "What is the ocean?" The ocean is a big body of water, large body of water. Said, "How large? Is it bigger than the well?" Said, "Come on, well or ocean में कोई comparison है क्या?" Said, it is far bigger than the well. You can't imagine. How big? Give me some estimation. 2 times the well, 3 times, 10 times. I said, 10 times? It's millions of times. How can you compare a well and an ocean? But he wanted to compare. He wanted to get some estimation. Well and ocean ka comparison. But then he couldn't give the comparison. How will you compare ocean and well? So Prabhupada said, our scientists are like this frog. We want to estimate the size of the universe, size of the creation, with our understanding of the universe. So we have some understanding, my well, and the entire creation is like universe. How will you estimate the size of the universe with our limited understanding of the universe? It's impossible. So therefore, we have to accept Shastra. That's what Arjuna is demonstrating here. That Nayo, I become your student. Please instruct me clearly on what is to be done, what is not to be done, what is right, what is wrong. Please help me take a decision. Give me some cause to fight for. Then I am ready to fight. So in this way, Krishna is going to enlighten Arjuna. In the coming verses we will see, in the coming weeks. Any thoughts, any questions anyone has?
Hare Krishna. What you mentioned today is Gunakesha, the victor of ignorance. But we also know that there is a popular say about today's universe that ignorance is bliss. Now, Arjuna too had, the spirit of ignorance. Krishna had to address that, evading that, how he could, he should fight and he should win the battle, because winning the battle with the Kauravas will benefit the entire universe. So, can you please explain to us a little more that, in today's this thing, as you rightly said, that Ukraine and Russia, the war is happening, war was happening. You also mentioned about the great soul of Arvind Bhafatlar. In fact, I had the pleasure of meeting this gentleman,
Sure.
and he is phenomenal. He closed his factory, which was 25,000 crore rupees, because it was polluting entire New Bombay. So what we need, that kind of, message. Thanks.
So ignorance is bliss is a popular saying, but that kind of bliss is very short-lived. It's temporary. Someone who is say, developing tumor in his body, cancerous tumor, and if he may not be aware of it, and then somehow he goes to the doctor, and the doctor does some checkup, and the doctor says, cancer, tumor. So he has two options: either remain in ignorance and be blissful, or accept the fact and take treatment. So what is better? That kind of ignorance is blissful, but how long? Right? Better go through the treatment, get cured, and then he can be really happy. So that kind of treatment we also have negative thoughts. Krishna is exposing them and then treating us. Hare Krishna. So we have a Gita course coming up in December. If anyone is interested, you can sign up downstairs. It's a 3-day Gita course. So where you will cover main basic concepts of the Gita. And you can sign up with Dhanraj Prabhu here. Hare Krishna.